Hold on, Zach. I'll be right back.
Hey, Chris, I'm going to do one thing tonight that this crowd might actually enjoy. Dash. Storm. Sorry, guys, but for this one match, y'all are banned from ringside.
A great decision from our commissioner, Justin Sane, ensuring this a fair and even matchup.
You have no idea how much that pained me to do that.
Well, the right decision in my mind. We don't need two people out here for Chris Preston to go one-on-one with anybody. Chris Preston, an incredible competitor. He doesn't need help to beat anybody. Unfortunately, he doesn't always feel that way. Chris Preston, classy as always.
I don't know if anybody heard our announcer, our ring announcer, Sarah, tonight, but she did mention that this is a first round Flying Lions Invitational match.
I gotta say, you worked wonders with this Flying Lions Invitational first round matchup. Kelixx Sunrise, no stranger to Chris Preston lately. since April, Kelixx has been at odds with Chris Preston and indeed the entirety of the now Mayhem Mafia.
And Chris Preston has come out on top 99% of the time.
Not on his own, though. And tonight, he's on his own against a man who wants nothing more than to beat him and shut him up. But I've known Chris Preston for a long time, and I don't think it's possible to shut him up. You can beat him, but you can't shut him up.
You can definitely beat him. I've beat him once or twice. Me and Chris go way back.
Well, when chain wrestling fails, you can always just kick your opponent in the gut.
It works.
Not very sportsmanlike, but then again, when has Chris Preston ever been sportsmanlike? Chris Preston did not like that one bit.
Chris just had to take a minute. Chris, Invitational, don't leave.
That's all right. If he walks out, then Kelixx Sunrise advances to the next round of the Flying Lions Invitational.
Now Kelixx has a headlock of his own.
So the Flying Lions Invitational, for any potential new viewers, Flying Lions Invitational is a yearly tournament we hold here. The winner of this tournament gets a trophy and a championship opportunity anytime they wish over the next year. Chris Preston already won the tournament once. Kelixx Sunrise never won the tournament.
Chris Preston is looking for his second win in it. I think he's got a legitimate shot.
The winner of this matchup, I believe, will face the winner of a rematch of one of tonight's matchups, right? Devin Wilson and Dak Xander?
Possibly.
Beautiful vertical suplex from Kelixx Sunrise.
Stomped him right on the chest. You gotta believe Chris was not expecting Kelixx to come out like this tonight.
Kelixx coming out tonight with some caution tape on, referencing, I believe, a friend of his, Court Caution. Perhaps might have gotten some advice from him on how to deal with people like Chris Preston.
Court Caution goes, he knows how to deal with Chris. Rolling flatliner from outside the ring.
Incredibly athletic move from Kelixx Sunrise.
You also got to believe that Aaron Storm has had a lot of talking to do with Chris recently about these previous matches that Chris has had with Kelixx.
That and Aaron Storm knows Kelixx Sunrise inside and out. You have to imagine that he's been telling Chris Preston every weakness in Kelixx Sunrise's game.
Storm has got to know Kelixx better than Kelixx knows Kelixx. And Chris is definitely taking advantage of this right now.
And this perhaps a preview of sorts to Rise of the Lions 12 in 2 weeks, when we'll see these two men alongside three partners of their own. Chris Preston teaming obviously with Dax Xander, Aaron Storm, and Jeremy Preston, the Mayhem Mafia, while Kelixx Sunrise will be teaming with the ones who matter, Corey Summers and Sean Cordova, who we'll see up next, and Hunter Maverick, who put on an impressive showing earlier tonight with Ethan Daniel.
I noticed you didn't say Daniels.
I have not, since he taught me that lesson. Beautiful German suplex from Kelixx Sunrise. Kelixx Sunrise, I'd say deceptively strong.
He's strong for his size, for sure. Kelixx just kicked him right in the mouth and only got a 2 count.
Well, say what you want about Chris Preston, but he is an incredible in-ring competitor, and it will take a lot to put him down.
He is one of the toughest guys in the ring that we have in League of Legends. And Kelixx is definitely one of the most athletic.
I think indisputably Chris Preston, at least in the top 5 most decorated champions in League of Legends history.
Chris Preston has been tag team champion multiple times. He's been our League of Lions champion. And he's looking now to win the Flying Lions Invitational for the 2nd time.
Huge suplex off the top rope.
Both men are down.
Chris Preston barely able to get an arm over, and Kelixx Sunrise still able to kick out. But this match started with Kelixx Sunrise popping up from everything that Chris Preston has done to him.
He hadn't popped up in a while. He's been taking one hell of a beating.
Absolutely. But still, interesting that Kelixx Sunrise was the first to his feet after that maneuver. Big clothesline from Kelixx Sunrise.
It's like Kelixx talking a little bit too much, not inflicting enough pain.
Well, the last thing you want to do is give such an experienced veteran like Chris Preston an idea of what you're doing, because he's done it all, he's seen it all. Subconsciously, he just knows how to counter whatever you have to throw at him. So
if you tell him you're going to break his neck, you're going to regret it.
Beautiful tornado DDT.
Planted right on his head. Can't help but think it might be over. Chris still got kicked out. Kelixx looking to fly.
Oh, Chris Preston getting out of the way and
That was another perfect example of Kelixx telling Chris what was coming.
And high risk, often high reward, but not this time.
And now Chris gets started on the back. That backbreaker does not feel good.
Incredible that Kelixx Sunrise is able to kick out after that much punishment on his back in such a short amount of time.
And even with Chris's experience, you got to wonder why he's bothering with this crowd here in Tatum.
Well, some might say that Chris Preston can't help himself.
Chris going for soul food gets kicked in the mouth himself.
Kelixx Sunrise spiking Chris Preston on his head once again.
But it's still not enough for Kelixx to get the win. Chris just steps out of the way. And that's gotta be it.
An incredible lumbar check. The absolute altitude that he got on that.
And Chris moves on to the second round of our Invitational tournament. Starting to get a mixed reaction from our crowd here.
You gotta say, a very disappointing moment for Kelixx Sunrise. When he goes back and looks at this match, see what he did wrong. This match tells a story of not really what Chris Preston did to him, but what he did to himself. He took too many chances, and Chris Preston just made sure they didn't pay off.
He took too much time in between. Kelixx is never going to learn. If you want to beat Chris, you have to stay on him. You can't give him an inch. And now, Zach, no one can say that Chris did not do that one on his own.
That's true. And honestly, I expected to see Chris Preston taking a few more shortcuts than he did, considering how he normally approaches matchups.
The only reason that I walked over there to ban Dax and Storm from ringside is because I was tired of hearing everyone complaining about the way that Chris beat Kelixx at House of Stars. And now that cannot be complained about.